Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to game number 2 between Liquid Taeja and MVP.Vampire. This is the IPL5 Korean Regionals, with Vampire taking game number 1 off of Taeja. These games were played on the 24th, 6 days ago, so that does mean that Taeja didn't know he was playing against MC yet in the GSL quarterfinals. This was back when he was still in group stages, I believe, when he had 2 Terrans, a Zerg, and a Protoss, so Taeja probably focusing on TVT during this game. So his TVP matchup, as I said in game number 1, is relatively weak. But he is up against MC in a week, so he's got to practice the TVP matchup a lot, because this is the matchup that Taeja is weakest in, and nothing against MVP.Vampire, but it's not MC. And if Taeja's losing to Vampire, then he's going to have a really tough time against MC, because anything Vampire can do, MC can probably do better. Just because, again, it is MC. He is really good. So we'll see exactly how Vampire opens up this game and how Taeja does. Taeja went for a CC first the last game, so I don't think he's going to be doing it this game, and actually looking like he's second-guessing himself right there. So he is going to go CC first, putting out 2 more SCVs. But you saw he was at 12 supply. That SCV made it right here. And maybe he was just doing mineral pairing, but it looked like he wanted to go for a 12 racks and then just was like, I'm going to go for a CC first. And Vampire looks like he is going to be going for a 15 gateway. That is a really late gate. And now going to be scouting right after that gateway, but 15 gate, I don't really know what the benefit to this is. He is probably going to go for a really fast Nexus, and maybe this just prevents him from being able to get bunker rushed? I don't know. He's going to get a gas now, and this is an odd build out of Vampire. Now it looks like he's going to be going down to go for his Nexus, so it's Gateway, Gas, Nexus. And that is definitely a little bit of an odd build, maybe normal. I just have not seen it personally. We do have this probe coming in, and unlike Entombed Valley, we will see he just clicks on this ramp, automatically scouts this command center. So he's going to turn around, start harassing this SCV, but Taeja already has an SCV down, so this scouting worker shouldn't fall. The probe is doing some damage to it, and the other SCV is going to be getting there. And there we go. The worker can now get away. He's actually going back to build with 1 hit left and does fall, and that is not good for Taeja. That will mean Taeja has to pull another worker down to help on out. And again, Taeja's lost 1. That just puts you in a horrible, horrible mindset, and now going to be essentially losing 2 workers of mining time while the CC builds. So the advantage of going CC first is kind of lost. It may be better just to go for a Brax first, but the SCV gonna to go scout, and now as soon as that leaves, the probe does a little bit more harassment. Another SCV has been pulled down, but he can now just start mining at this command center. Was built a little bit off, so he's gonna lift that up and now go into orbital command. He does have 2 racks coming up. Now the SCV is going to scout to see exactly what Vampire is doing. The Nexus will be done, so maybe Taeja is going to think that is a CC first. However, we do have the Stalker already out. So, well, not already out. It will be out really quick. So Taeja probably going to know that wasn't a Nexus first. I think he came in as it finished, so he knows, okay, this is not Nexus first. This is a really odd build. He's going to look at the gases, and this is what's odd about this. Vampire has a lot of gas banked up, so he can go into a tech route, and maybe that's what the benefit to going with this 15 gate, 16 gas, 17 Nexus is he's going to have a lot more gas than you normally do when that 7 Nex core finishes. We see him going up to 170 gas, and if Taeja clicked on both those guys, he's going to notice that. He's going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You mine that much gas, and you only have produced, like, using 100 gas? That is definitely a little bit odd, knowing that he has 150 gas in the bank, because again, that was seeing 200 gas and I think 100 gas there or something. So clicking on those gases would be really good for Taeja. I'm kind of curious how Vampire is going to follow this up. He's only got 1 gate, the 7 Next core right now. Not really chrono boosting the 7 Next core. Going to go for a 3rd base, and maybe he's just going to get a lot of sentries as he's warping in 1 sentry right now. Stalker down here just protecting this 3rd base. Does have this 1 washed out with his other Stalker and 1 sentry out. Now going to be getting a Forge out to get those upgrades again. Still has a lot of gas stored up, 250 gas. At this point, he could have just went for the 1 gate into the Nexus, then into the gas, because he's not really doing too much. But again, it maybe depends what Taeja is doing. He has a lot of gas stored up in case he ever needs to warp in a lot of sentries. He can just instantly do so because he's always got that huge bank of gas early on. We do have Taeja going for a really fast third command center, so this is just like in game number 1 for Taeja. Does have control of this watchtower with one Marine right here, and again, the one Stalker right here, and another one at the watchtower. So both players playing this really similarly, oddly enough. We do have that Forge now finished. And 4 more gates, 3, no, that's 4 more gates, 3 gates, and a Twilight Council if I could count. So it looks like he may be going into Blink Stalkers. I'm going to say Blink Stalkers, but he could go Charge first again. I just don't really like Charge first because, again, all these small things with drops can really just hurt you. And Taeja, game number 1, he didn't really do that many drops. And I don't know Taeja for being that much of a drop-heavy Terran player, so maybe this is a build specifically for Taeja if he ends up getting Charged first, because knowing that Taeja probably won't just drop him immediately. So that Twilight Council is done. Is it Charge? Is it Blink? He doesn't have the minerals for either right now. Now he can get Blink. Now he can get Charge. And it is going to be Charge first out of Vampire. So it looks like he's going to be doing the same Charge Lot Archon build that worked so well for him in game number 1. The difference is this third base got up really fast. And his Nexus went up, I think, a little bit quicker than in game number 1. So this is going to be a really nice build out of Vampire this game. Now getting the Robo Facility. I think he got this a little bit earlier last game. Taeja going to be floating his command center down to take his third base. The worker count is 55 versus 48. Relatively even in Econ. We do have 1-1 on the way for Taeja. Just +1 armor out of Vampire. So in game number 2, Taeja is going to have that upgrade advantage. But Vampire is going to be going this Charge Lot Archon build again. I can only assume may do Charge Lot Colossus. We'll see exactly what Taeja ends up doing. There we go. Templar Archives is down, so it is Charge Lot Archon. And now he's working on that +1 armor, doing a nice job of chrono boosting things. Scan is going down, seeing a lot of Zealots warp in with this Robo Facility. This may be kind of key to tell Taeja, hey, it's not going to be Blink Stalkers. You can see all the Zealots going off to this north side, expecting a drop right now, because the 11-12 minutes is when drops come. However, if Taeja dropped right here at this third base, what does he have to really defend against that? Vampire just saying, okay, I know if you're going to drop me, you're going to drop me in the main. And this is a big, big call about that, putting all his Zealots in the main, because now Taeja goes to this third base. It's going to take a while for these Zealots to get all the way down there. We do have Taeja a little bit south. Is an Observer out? It looks like just the first one is finishing. We do have the Robo Bay on the way. This looks like almost exact same build as game number 1, just doing it a little bit differently because he did scout the immediate CC first. So the Observer is going to scout all the Bioforce right here. These Zealots now going to say, okay, we can turn down. He also saw that with the Watchtower. And that is a Marine up. If that was a drop, that would be so good. Knowing that Vampire is going this Charge Light Archon build, he has to really predict Taeja's next move because, again, doesn't have a mobile force to deal with drops. He only has 2 Stalkers out, is that correct? Yes, he does. So Taeja needs to be more aggressive against this. He has not been aggressive, so that will allow Vampire to just bypass this stage of the game where he can't deal with drops. And now the factory is going to scout. He's going to see all those Zealots and this low number of Stalkers. And this should tell him, I need a drop. But I think he may just say, I can micro against that, because Taeja has that good a micro. 2 Zealots at this watchtower can see where Taeja's army is, and both those Zealots will be going down. And again, Vampire's going to have to just know where Taeja is. He does have an Observer sitting right here, so he can see where Taeja's army is and which way it wants to go. So the army probably best to sit right here, because Taeja's kind of in the middle as well. But he is going to be pulling back. He does have 4 medevacs and still refusing to do any drops whatsoever. And I just do not like that right now, because now Vampire is going to be able to deal with them. He has cannons, High Templars around his base, so blind drops won't be as successful. If they do bypass the cannons, well, they'll be very successful, because there's nothing to really kill medevacs. But now the medevacs are getting that high of energy where they will just get fed back and dead. That's about the truth of the story. He's going to be loading up 4 medevacs, 5 medevacs actually, and going for a huge drop. But again, as I did say, feedback and like dead over these cannons. Going to use a scan, and now going to drop. Feedbacks are going off, but they will all unload. And and that is really good for Taeja. He is going to be coming into this main base doing a lot of damage. Zealot's going to streamline in little by little. Those Templars do not have Storm yet. About halfway done. Beautiful timing attack. Taeja is going to take out the Nexus and now get on out of there. Going to not really lose many units. That was 5 full medevacs, only loses 6 U's worth of units, which is really nice for taking out this Nexus. It is going to delay this gas by quite a bit, so we have Vampire now losing out on a lot of gas mine, and he's going to need that gas to continue this Urkon and Kalaza production. You saw how effective that drop was. It could have only came earlier. He could have sniped these tech buildings and delayed Vampire by a lot. I really like where the forges are built, where they won't get sniped. This is the hardest spot for Taeja to do damage. Actually, maybe not if he just drops in the high ground or in here. This forge would go down. The reason why is because you normally are chrono boosting your forges. So whenever these get sniped, you don't only lose the you don't even only like delay the upgrade. You lose all that energy you spent chrono boosting that stuff. So that is always a danger of chrono boost. Why drop play can be so effective against Protoss, and we do have another drop coming in. We have Vampire way out of position. He may go for the base race right now. Those Zealots as far out of position as possible. A lot of Stalkers are back here, but that's a lot of Bio just dropping. 3 medevacs full. A Storm does go down, and Taeja's all in the red. Actually, he could lose his Bio Force, and that will be absolutely a huge. Zealot's going to be cleaning that up. There's upgrades 2-2 versus Taeja's 2-2. Upgrades even. And Vampire has a lot of stuff now going into Taeja's natural. At the same time, a few Zealots going over here. There's Marines going in a relatively good position. But so many Zealots running in, and they do back on out. Template's now coming in. Scan does go down. Doesn't have any Ghost. And what a whiff of a Storm doing more damage to his own Zealots. Now a Storm goes down on the ramp saying, if you want to come engage me, you're going to take a lot of damage. Storm's going down on those Vikings and pretty much just everywhere. Taeja is going to hold possible, but the Zealots do just suddenly turn around. His third base looks good. He has lost 30 workers so far. And now that Colossus goes down as he storms ahead. Another Colossus is out. Taeja 96 supply versus 134. It looks like he may possibly hold another stem goes down, but at the loss of a lot. Storm going down. Everything does start scattering after that Storm. Viking is landed trying to kill those sentries. Force fields going down on the ramp. Taeja going to lift up and now go down. A little bit risky. That medevac only had 21 HP. But now we have the Protoss going to say, hey, let's go to the third base. All the SCVs, though, are pretty much taken care of. And now we have the Bioforce coming in here. Sentries, Urkon, and 1 High Templar does not really stand a chance. More Zealots coming in from Vampire. And going to the Workers tab, 34 SCVs to 66 probes. So Vampire at this point will probably be able to outproduce Taeja. The benefit for Taeja, he is at 4 bases, has a lot of SCVs at this 1 PF. So if he can stabilize, he will still be able to come back, but stabilizing is a lot harder than it sounds. Or a lot, yeah, harder than it sounds, I think. I think that's the correct terminology. We do have Zealots now just coming in, picking off even more SCVs, saying no gas for you, and Taeja doesn't have that many medevacs out. So losing this gas income is really big for Taeja. You can see going to this, he doesn't mine gas out of his 4th base, only 1 base of gas. So you can see that down to the 300, or 280. And going into this army supply, you can see it is still even, but it's mainly mineral based because again, Taeja doesn't really have any gas. So this mineral based army can easily get taken out by this gas based army of Vampire. Taeja going to keep stimming, and every time he stims, he's going to be depleting his medevacs of energy. You see this medevac is really low in energy, which means he can't kite forever, and when you can't kite against Zealot Urkon with just Marines, you're going to have a bad time. Those Urkons now turn around, get a good hit off, but Taeja can no longer heal up his units, and that is just so hard. Urkons will be coming ahead, and a lot of Marines will be taken out. Viking does land, and it looks like Taeja is somehow holding this off, but again, with the econ how it is, I don't see this possible for too long, especially once this last medevac does fall. These Urkons have lived for a really long time. There's only more and more Urkons coming up. We're up to 7 Urkons, and Zealots taking out those reactors, and only 1 medevac at a time. But Taeja slowly losing his tech as he loses army, and then doesn't really have enough to outproduce Vampire. He does have that 4th base that is hidden, but now Vampire going to take a half base on his own as he does take this base. Half base because less minerals, 1 gas. And those Archons going to engage, and Taeja still building those medevacs, really surprisingly, being able to get those out. He is getting gas again at these bases, 2 and 3 SCVs on that. Doesn't have gas on this one base because Zealots keep going up there. Doesn't have gas on this base. But Taeja is doing his best to hold on. The supply still relatively kind of even. It's a lot more even than I thought it would be. Only a 40 supply differential, and it's been that way for as long as I can remember this game going. So Taeja doing a marvelous job. Now he's going to do a job. Looking at the loss tab, Taeja is being really cost effective still, and that's what's holding him on into this game. Vampire probably should switch off into Colossus, because Taeja can't really build to defend against that. This PF is really what's the saving grace. If a few Stalkers went behind this, that would also be just kind of a checkmate type thing, stopping the mining from this base, which means Taeja wouldn't really be mining. So all that pressure, Vampire probably thought Taeja's main was mined. Now he's like, you're not producing minerals anymore. He sees this base isn't mining, so he's like, how are you still building all those units? So he should be looking around the map to find another base. He has an army where he can just annihilate this PF, but again, putting a few Stalkers behind would be enough. This one Mule did not really mine a thing. And Taeja looks like he wants to go out and put pressure on. Yeah, he is going to. Doing another Doom drop going over into the main, and we have the Protoss way out of position. And I have seen this work. He is starting to switch into Colossus, though, exactly what he needs to do. 5 medevacs is going to be dropping in, and he does know about this. It looks like pulling everything back to deal with this drop. Zealots already waiting, Colossus waiting, and Taeja probably going to turn around. And, nope, going to go for this. Drop, kill off those Zealots and the Colossus really fast. Going into the upgrades, Vampire is at 2-3-1-3-3 out of Taeja. And those Urkas going to be getting taken out. Horrible concave for Vampire right now. Units are just streamlining in, dying slowly. But Vampire going in, going to be doing a little bit of a counterattack of his own. Taeja with some micro right now, getting surrounded by those Zealots. I don't think he's being cost effective anymore. No, he is not really. Not at least for the income he is losing. And now a lot of units. Whoa, Taeja has a lot of units. 132 supply to 146. What a sick comeback out of Taeja. Just like in game number 2, Vampire just, I don't know, just staying with the same tech, and now Taeja has a relatively good thing to deal with what Vampire had a few minutes ago, but with these Colossus. But he did snipe a Colossus and take the count down to just 1 Colossus, so 1 Colossus isn't going to be that big of a deal. Taeja going to come in. We have a big engagement go down. EMP is going off on a lot of Archons, but those Ghosts just get annihilated by those charge lots, and he needed to get more EMPs off. You can see a lot of these Archons still have quite a bit of shields. Taeja going to turn around. Now he's in danger of losing his medevac, so may want to start spreading his units out. But this one base has just kept Taeja in the game so long. 182 supply, though, to 117. That supply dropped fast. And now we have a bunch of charge lots going to go back into this one base. And a drop coming down over at this one base, going to be taking out a handful of probes. And he does know about that base up in the 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock position, so he's not going to be going for that. Taeja going to be engaging back here where there's no concave. These Zealots and Archons could do a lot of damage, but he is going to turn around, kill off a few Zealots. And why is this base not have a few Stalkers behind that mineral line? And here we go, the final engagement, possibly. All those Archons coming in. Storm's going down on that bio. Supply 77 to 129. Taeja coming ahead. It looks like he may be able to clean up this army, but the reinforcements are just going to be too much for Vampire, who now is double Taeja's supply. 65 supply to 125 supply. But we have Vampire streaming into Colossus slowly. If Taeja just stemmed ahead, he could have killed those before those Zealots got in, and that would have been relatively big. Now going to fly over Archons. That's not what he wants to do. And the hook gun's going to come and take out 1 and 2 medevacs that were full, and Taeja now dropping way behind supply. There goes the G out of Taeja. And Vampire taking that game, taking the series 2-0. Well played, Vampire, and I'm a little bit worried for Taeja. But he did show some epic games, staying in that game forever. But I don't think MC is going to be making those mistakes that Vampire made to let Taeja get into this game. He's got to work on his TVP if he wants to do well in the GSL. I'm afraid if he doesn't work on his TVP, he will be knocked out. But he's a smart player, and he's on Liquid, which Liquid's whole goal is just making players better than they already are. And that's hard for Taeja because he was already Code S caliber. So you can bet like anything that Liquid's doing everything in their realm of possibilities to ensure that Taeja beats MC. You just know he is going to be doing well. And also, keep in mind, all the Team Liquid players know how MC plays because they lived with MC for so long. So, even though Liquid, they have Hero. Hero didn't live with MC that long, but they probably have a lot of MC replays. And MC and Hero don't really have the same playstyles, but there's a lot of good friends with Liquid. They can get almost anyone that isn't on, well, what team is MC on? Like SK? It's not really that big of a team, so Purting just got, I think, eliminated from the GSL. MC and Purting kind of play similar, so maybe Taeja's practicing against Purting right now. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me. But anyways, we'll see exactly what does end up happening in the GSL. You know I'm going to be watching those games because it's Liquid Taeja versus MC. That could be a finals right there. So I hope you guys enjoy the cast, enjoy the games. Take care. Keep tuning in. Keep subscribing. That really does help me. Every time I see a subscriber, it just makes me smile a little inside. And also, watch the GSL and support Team Liquid right on Taeja's fan club, saying good luck in the GSL because Taeja, he does read his fan club. That's one thing that Liquid does more than anyone else, is all the players just promote themselves. Like, TLO, he does it by far the best. Like, if I tweet a game saying, hey, even if I don't tag TLO in this, I don't know how he does it all the time, but even if I didn't tag TLO, he would still retweet me. I don't know how he knows it's coming in, but he's just like, yep, retweet. And then he'd message me saying, hey, tag me, dude. You make it hard for me to find the games and help publicize you. I'm like, whoa, you're just so awesome, TLO. But anyways, it's just Team Liquid. They just know how to improve their players, which is great. So anyways, hope you enjoy the games. Take care.